Hello and welcome to the Astrology in You podcast. I'm Kerry Hourigan and today we'll be looking at the super full moon in Capricorn coming up on the 13th or 14th of July 2022. As always, I'd like to begin by acknowledging the original land carers, the Awabakal people, where this podcast is recorded. I give my deepest respect to elders past, present and emerging, and acknowledge the Awabakal people who have cared for this land for tens of thousands of years. I acknowledge this land was stolen and that sovereignty has never been ceded. So just a reminder, you can get a free mini astrology report that includes a very detailed birth chart from Astrology in You. I created a video to show you how you can create a free birth chart yourself with transits at astro.com to follow along with the astrology, and you can find the podcast on iTunes. Any resources mentioned in the podcast will have links in the show notes below, and if you receive the newsletter you will have access to the full moon in Capricorn through the houses. Now, as you can imagine, there are countless interpretations of this event depending on what's happening in your own life. So I put together some general interpretations that will help you understand the energies better. So the super full moon in Capricorn will be happening on the 13th or 14th of July 2022 at 21 degrees and 21 minutes depending on your location. To see where this specifically relates to you, look to the house or life area. This event will be transiting in your own chart, as this is the area that will be mostly affected. Full moons are associated with culminations, completions and closures, so we can release and let go of what we need to. We can also become more aware of where we feel emotionally blocked, keeping us stuck. And to do that, we must look at the stressful thoughts and emotions behind these blockages to set ourselves free. Finding freedom from stressful thoughts and emotions require a process where we look within. It is an extraordinary experience, and I'm speaking personally here, to be free of stressful thoughts and emotions. If suppressed, these emotions become distorted when they're not addressed. These experiences hold great value and are the path to our freedom and truth. I can highly recommend the work of Byron Katie. In fact, I can't recommend her highly enough. And Katie has a very simple but powerful process that is 4 questions and the turnarounds that she offers for free. You will find a liberation from your own nightmare once you experience this for yourself, and you'll find the links of Katie's work in the show notes below. In evolutionary astrology, the moon represents our ego. It's how we see ourselves, our self-image, our subjective filter. It is the lens through which we view the world based on our childhood and societal conditionings and our experiences from our own individual perspective. And this is why we can view the same thing as another, but it's through our own subjective filter or our ego we see something different to another person. The moon connects us to our emotions, our emotional reality, emotional dynamics, and the child within. In evolutionary astrology, feelings are represented by Venus, and feelings are the reactions to existing stimulus, and emotions react to the feelings. The moon relates to our emotions of security, what is familiar and known, correlating to how we live with ourselves on a daily and moment-to-moment basis, our sensitivities and our intuitions. We all need and want to feel secure, and what gives us that is the familiar, what is known, things like our family, the past, wanting things to stay the same even when they're not working. And we're seeing this on a global scale. They're trying to solve the problems with the same thing that created them in the first place. We all know how that's going to end. It's not going to work, and therefore change is required. Now, when you bring in Capricorn, Capricorn is an initiating earth sign ruled by Saturn, opposite Cancer, an initiating water sign ruled by the moon. At the basic level, Capricorn deals with rules, regulations, the structure of the law, and the phenomena of the law of cause and effect. Capricorn initiates change, as does Aries, Libra and Cancer. The polarity of Cancer Capricorn is Cancer is our inner security and Capricorn is our outer security. Interestingly, the 4 cardinal signs are the world axis. where we are going through enormous change, and a change is being initiated on so many levels. Capricorn also relates to self-determination, responsibility, authority, discipline, emotional maturity, repression, suppression, and guilt. And this leads to depression. Depression is a state of reflection and occurs when something in our life isn't working. And when we understand that this is necessary to the evolutionary process, we can focus on what isn't working so we can initiate the change that is needed. Now, this is a real dilemma, as we are told we're not supposed to be depressed. When this reflection or focus is on what isn't working, it's inviting us to be aware of the structural change we can initiate in the environment of our inner reality. We often think there's something wrong with us because that's what we're told. You shouldn't be depressed, but you are. It is part of a natural process to have challenges, problems, and issues to address, and it's part of evolution. It helps us grow and develop. And of course, it's recommended to see a professional counsellor when depression is impacting on functional living. This combined with understanding with the work of Byron Katie, who has the process to look at the thoughts and emotions that are causing the suffering, with understanding, it's where we learn, it's where we grow and develop to continue on our evolution through our emotional body. We evolve through our emotional body. We don't evolve through the intellect. When we look at the full moon in Capricorn, we can feel our creativity and personal purpose stifled in society as we must work within a structure. Capricorn relates to authority, so when we can affirm our own sense of purpose, we can establish our own sense of authority, and when done correctly, we actually can be recognized for that authority. Our creativity associated with Leo, which is in an inconjunct to Capricorn, and this can result in great frustration. I felt a great example is Elvis Presley, where his creativity was suppressed by authority figures, as in the movie studios and the Colonel. Even Priscilla has said in interviews his creativity was stifled. And Elvis was a Capricorn sun. I highly recommend the movie, actually. It is just remarkable, and I tip my hat to all the actors and those involved, and Baz Luhrmann has done an absolutely brilliant job. He has handled this with such respect and dignity, and I highly recommend you go see the movie. When we have the full moon, the sun is in the opposite sign. In this case, the sun is in Cancer, and this will also throw light on our emotions. And don't be surprised if you do a lot of crying or you feel like you want to cry. Crying is a very good way to release pressure, and it allows our emotions to be felt and fully expressed for our healing. As the sun goes through Cancer, we feel our vulnerabilities, and this opens our hearts and it connects us more to our emotional bodies to find strength and courage with our emotional truth. The little you within calls to your inner Father for counsel as we go through these vulnerabilities with courage to find that emotional maturity. So look to the Father within. Pluto, the planet of transformation, death and rebirth, is currently retrograding in the last degrees of Capricorn, bringing our attention to what we need to review, revisit, revise, release, and throw off whatever isn't working anymore. Pluto brings things from the deepest depths to the surface, as does the full moon, bringing light into the dark, exposing what is hidden and suppressed. When natural law is suppressed and repressed, this leads to distortion, making it harder for us to deal with. So it is best to let these things have their voices, Katie says, for just beyond that difficulty is peace. Saturn, the ruler of Capricorn, is retrograding in Aquarius in a T-square to the north and south nodes of the moon. So T-squares are aspects of stress acting like a pressure cooker, with the focal point being Saturn. Saturn in retrograde has us revisiting and reviewing what has gone before, and is also the point of tension or release. It's also where we find the answer. So one could sum this up as reviewing the old ways of Saturn squaring the south node of Scorpio, which is the the past that no longer works and must be left behind to have new structure, Saturn again, that will serve for a better future, Aquarius and the North Node in Taurus. This is not only our individual future but the collective direction of the human family. A sustainable future relates to the planet itself, the land, agriculture, money, property, our relationship with ourselves and what we value within ourselves to build a sustainable future. So it wouldn't surprise me at all to see something quite futuristic in things like money and digital currency, how we handle money, food supply as well. And this is also evident with the full moon and sun, both in harmonious aspects to the moon's nodes again. So it's helping to keep this moving along. The full moon is also in a T-square to Chiron in Aries. Chiron is known as the wounded healer. It's associated with an aspect of your life where a wounding has occurred through no fault of your own. And it may be something you just know. And interestingly, it can also be related to a generational wound passed down or a feeling that lies deep within you that you can't easily identify. This may take many years to acknowledge. I mean, you can just sit with it as I did, just wait for it to arise and pay attention where this is triggered in you. In this T-square, Chiron in Aries is the focal point, being the tension and release to initiate a change to begin a healing process. The full moon in Capricorn connects to our emotional maturity and your inner father or inner authority to help you on your way. We also have Jupiter in Aries in a wide conjunction to Chiron, bringing a sense of optimism and a pioneering vision for a new cycle. It's very, very exciting for us all. So to wrap up, how do we nurture ourselves in this full moon in Capricorn? So some suggestions I have for you. As always, start a meditation practice to balance your emotions and well-being. Initiate change where needed. Take full responsibility for your actions. Investigate and search for the truth behind painful emotions and get to the heart of them to set yourself free. And of course, this involves the work of Byron Katie. Let go of what you must so you can move forward and just keep releasing. Be in nature where possible. And also, just a thought for you, can you become an authority with your creativity, knowledge, skills, and natural talents? Listen to your heart's intelligence, because this is where you find truth and meaning. We all connect to each other and to every other living thing through our hearts, the cosmos and the creative source itself. Be in the higher emotions of hope and gratitude, joy, relief, appreciation, and know all is well. Everything is always for our good. We might not see it at the time, and we may not even feel it at the time, but it always happens for our good. I mean, it must happen for our good. What other reason is there? Thank you for listening, and welcome to all the new subscribers. Thank you so much for getting in contact with me. I'm always thrilled, and I think it's just a miracle how we connect all over the world. Take good care of yourself. God bless, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.